And we are live. I think I'm live. Hey, so today was a real interesting day for me because I was going and getting signatures on a petition to run for city council, which is cool because then you get to listen and talk with people about like the hot button subjects they want to talk about. You know, they're asking me, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? What do you think about this entity or that entity in our town? And one of the questions that came up today, which is always coming up, it's been coming up for, the last 4 or 5 years, is about Charis Bible College. Now, the thing that a lot of you may not know as citizens, as people in Woodland Park, is there's actually a lot of movement going on and a lot of construction plans that are planned over at Charis Bible College. Now, they are the largest construction project ever to hit Teller County ever, like ever in history, more than any casino, more than anything that's happened in Cripple Creek, Woodland Park, larger than Walmart. So they're the largest, single largest construction project to ever come to Teller County. And they aren't finished, right? They're not finished building. They're not finished with what they're going to do. And something interesting has come up recently in a city council meeting. And I think people need to know this because as I was having discussions today, I don't think a lot of people are aware of some of the new things that are coming to Charis Bible College. Now, one of the new projects that's coming there is student housing. And thank God there were some people on council during, and I don't think it's any of our council members that are there now, but and I would have to look back in history to see who was there. But when Charis Bible College got approval to come to Woodland Park, one of the things they asked about was student housing, and they were going to build student housing, and they were going to have student housing. Well, they're at the point now that they want to build student housing. But here's the kicker when it comes to student housing at Charis Bible College. That is going to be a for-profit entity, for-profit enterprise, for-profit part of the business for Charis Bible College. And it will be subject to property taxes. So I know a lot of you have been concerned and completely reasonable about your concerns because Charis Bible College at this point doesn't pay property taxes on their nonprofit enterprises, on their nonprofit entities of the Bible College. But according to some sort of rules, and we're going to get to it. I'm going to let you hear city council explain to you. I'm going to let you hear them explain what's going on here. But this is a short segment that I pulled from one of our city council meetings I think it was one of the first ones of the year here. And they are talking about giving Charis Bible College a letter of approval or consensus or to move forward, with seeking. They're probably going to have to go through design and all of that stuff with this student housing. But everything around the student housing should be taxable through property taxes. Now, that doesn't mean other taxes may not apply and things like that. But for the student housing and the income that it brings in to the college, it will be a for-profit entity of the college, which would then make it subject to property taxes. And so when you start hearing about the student housing project that's going to go up there, and this is going to benefit the city because it will relieve a little bit. Now, what I don't think people realize is when they build student housing out there, all of a sudden rental houses in Woodland Park are not just going to open up because the students have a place to go out to Charis Bible College. I promise you that when they build student housing out there, they are just going to increase their attendance. And I have a feeling that student housing will actually fill up with new students that weren't living here to begin with. And so I don't think it's necessarily going to relieve the housing situation in Woodland Park. I think it's actually going to bring more students to Woodland Park, which in turn brings more sales tax and different things, groceries, restaurants, gas, all that stuff. On top of that, that student housing will be subject to property taxes. So let's take a listen right now, and then I'm going to throw this up here to the actual city council meeting where they talked about this. And this was just a few days ago. It was like the first city council meeting of the year. And so you'll be able to hear more about this and why and how this was written into the rules before they came here.
Darren?
All right. I have a couple of items I'd like to discuss tonight as part of my report. First one is Charis Bible College is seeking a letter of support for student housing from City Council. And so I'd like to discuss that really quickly and seek consensus on that letter of support. The letter of support goes back to a 2012 PUD approval. I'll have to bring Sally up to discuss that briefly. That dictates that it would be a for-profit student housing under condition 14. If you can just talk about that real quick.
Sure, thank you. When Charis Bible College was approved for the planned unit development, business development, there were 14 total conditions, and the last condition, number 14, was that the student housing shall be a taxing entity, so a private development. And a couple weeks ago, we heard from Chris Cease that they have a grantor who is interested in helping fund the student housing and requested this letter of support. So I've drafted the letter, which is basically states that the city strongly supports the future student housing to be developed on campus, that there is a strong need for this housing, and have the city manager and the mayor sign the letter.
Thank you. Thank you. City Council, do you have any questions?
Do you have a copy of the letter, Sally?
I believe. Okay.
Do?
Hand it. Enough copies for all? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Any
Mayor.
questions?
Yes. Would it be possible to cut out that portion of the POD and send it to the council? Cut it out. meaning-
You mean you'd like to see the verbiage
please, yes.
specifically? I'd be happy to do that. I can send you the whole letter of approval that
Sure.
has all 14.
Whatever's easiest for you. Thank you.
As well as what will help you is I also have maps of the PUD, so I'll get those in your hands this evening.
Thank you. And we do have a time constraint of Tuesday, I believe, and so Sally will send you that. And if we can get consensus today, and if anyone sees the materials and is not satisfied, then we can go through the process at that point. Do we have a consensus today? I'm just going to submit this letter, and you got it in front of you. I think everybody agrees that residential housing is drastically needed in our community. It'll free up a lot of inventory for others right here in the city, and it's just a win-win as long as, and I know this is everybody's concern, as long as they're going to be paying property tax. And so council and the mayor, whoever at the time, was wise enough to realize that, and then we finally come to that point. And so generating some property tax revenue for that piece of property is going to be it's going to be really important, and we've waited for it for a long time, so looking forward to that myself. Kelly?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to ask, and just to get on the record, that these PUD requirements would be applicable if they were to develop housing on the Sturman property as well?
Thank you. Great question.
The Sturman property is under a different PUD, and it does not have an allowance for student housing under the current Sturman PUD. So in order for, if Karis or Andrew Womack Ministries desired to build housing on the Sturman property for students, it would go through a PUD amendment for the Sturman PUD, and the Planning Commission reviews those amendments and holds public hearings, and I would assume that they would require the same condition.
And that would come before the council after the planning commission?
No, it would not.
Okay.
PUD amendments are handled only by the Planning Commission unless there is a change in dimensional standards.
Okay. Thank you, Sally.
I think everyone's concern, right, is that this is a for-profit project. Other than that, I think most would be thrilled to have that in our community. So is there any way relative to the PUD that they can get around that, in your opinion?
No, there is not.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, we have consensus, council?
Yes.
Okay, we can move on. Derek.
Thank you, appreciate it. I want to highlight on January 12th.
So what you just heard is they're just giving a letter of approval and endorsement. It looks like somebody over at Andrew Womack Ministries and or Charis Bible College is going to foot the bill for the student housing. They're going to get their name on the building, and that student housing will be taxable property taxes. So if they build like an apartment complex thing, or if it's just, a square building, like a dormitory, depending on the plans, and those plans must be available somewhere. I bet you could go over to Andrew Womack Ministries and they probably have a flyover video of their plans for their student housing. One thing I disagree with the mayor on here is I don't think this is going to relieve any rentals around town. I don't think this is going to relieve or bring open up inventory, as he put it, for houses around town. I think all this is going to do is increase the attendance to Charis Bible College, because they are going to offer this student housing. I'm sure they'll offer it to people that are here and students that are here already, but I have a feeling that this is just going to increase their actual college attendance, which it's going to bring that many more people here. They will just not necessarily be taking over houses in Woodland Park or apartments in Woodland Park. Maybe it relieves a couple, maybe it doesn't. I guess that'll be yet to see. But what we do know is that will be a taxable entity, a part of that college. And that's a good thing, because they don't pay property taxes now. And people I know that even support Charis, and people that are a part of Charis, they understand the strain of Charis on Woodland Park. I spoke with a couple today that is very active at Charis, and they love, and what I love about it is Charis has actually put a number of people that were here long before Charis got here. And listen to me, I know this to be a fact, that Charis Bible College has put a number of people that lived in this community long before they got here to work. And they've put a number of musicians to work. They've put a number of people teaching to work. And so Charis has change the look and the feel and the amount of traffic and things that come through Woodland Park. But there is a lot of things they have done positively to put people to work. Like I said, I know a number of people that lived in this community long before Charis ever showed up. And to this day, they are employed and working for Charis Bible College. And that's a good thing, because we kept some people here and we put some people to work here. Now, the flip side is the largest construction project ever to hit Teller County doesn't pay any property taxes because it's a nonprofit. This is going to change that. And it's going to give more property taxes to the city. And property taxes directly affect our emergency services, firemen, ambulance, cops. And so that's a good thing. It's a real good thing that this was written into the bylaws, and they will be paying taxes. So a portion. It might not be a huge portion, but I don't know how big of a dormitory they're looking to build. I don't know how that's going to be assessed on property taxes and how that's going to change, but it looks like they're going to be moving forward with student housing. Whether or not that opens up inventory in the housing market here in Woodland Park, it'll be yet to be seen. Yeah, that's funny. Just got a text from the I just got a text from the mayor of Woodland Park. I sent him a text today and said, "Hey, you want to sign my petition for city council?" And he just wrote me back an answer. He said he has chosen not to sign anybody's, but just to be fair. And then he does wish me the best of luck. Thank you, Mayor. If you're watching, thank you, Mayor. That's funny. So, this is just a little something I wanted to bring you guys. I'm actually going over a lot of the city council meetings that I have missed in the past couple of weeks just due to schedule. But I thought this is a hot button subject that has come up. People have asked me about this today when I was going around and getting signatures on my petition to run for council. People had asked me about this particular project, and so I knew that they had talked about it. I went back and found that little clip. I hope that kind of clears it up for you and you understand kind of what's going on in that. And so hey, thanks for joining this little quick segment on Woodland Park. I'm going to be bringing more of this to you. I know that I've taken a little sabbatical from talking with doing more stuff on the underground, but as the new year hits, I was pressed to push into this harder. Now I've been talked into running for city council, and I'm going to open up the books on all this stuff. And if anything comes from it, at least I'll get to see the backhanded side of things. But this is a good thing. This is actually a really good thing for the town in a sense of property taxes and revenue. Whether or not it relieves the housing, that'll be yet to be seen. But thanks for joining again. I'll give you some more updates, maybe tonight, maybe not, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. You can subscribe and like this page. You can also subscribe and like the Woodland Park Underground group. If you do not do Facebook, a lot of people don't do Facebook. Thanks for watching on YouTube. You can always tell people they can watch over on YouTube where you don't need an account. You don't have to be a part of YouTube to watch the Woodland Park Underground on YouTube. So that's another place you can get these updates if you're not on Facebook. But thanks for joining.